Hello folks, this is Kevin from Good Day, Good Prayers. Hope you're having a good day. I have purchased a new camera and I'm going to be setting up that new camera. The other night as I was doing a video, my camera just went completely all messed up. This show today will be on DSR Chats. This is going to be life number 12, and it's going to do an awful lot of things because I'm outside. You'll see it go light to dark, dark to light, kind of like what Q tells us, dark to light. And anyway, today we're going to be talking about the NFL. Today is the day, the first Sunday, that the NFL is officially kicking off. Now, I'm going to say some things about the NFL that you're going to be very interested in hearing. I'm going to talk specifically about two teams. One is from Ohio and one is from Michigan. And obviously you know the one from Michigan because there's only one. The other one is the Cleveland Browns. Back in the 1950s, when the NFL was kind of in its youth, if you will, those two teams during the 1950s wound up winning 6 or 7 championships. Well, it was a difficult time for the NFL, and the people who were running the NFL realized that the NFL was going to have to change. And so that's what it did. It had to go through its metamorphosis. And in 1964, 65, and 66, a lot of big name, important people were purchasing the franchises. And so those franchises were being purchased by companies like Ford and many other big organizations, big name people like Jerry Jones and so on. And these people were going to change the entire complexion of the NFL forever. And that was very important to the American pastime known as the NFL. If you will notice over the course of the last several years, there has been no Detroit championships. There have been no Cleveland Brown championships because of the fact that they won 6 or 7 of the 10 championships during the decade of the 50s. The NFL got the idea that those two small town venues could not be a part of the championships and so on of the NFL. And if they were, it was literally going to destroy the American pastime. So they went ahead and made sure that didn't happen. It doesn't matter who you have on your team. It's kind of like the election for president. In the election for president, you have 2 nominees. The 2 nominees, one for the Republicans, one for the Democrats, are carefully selected by the deep state. And then they have to go before the person who is in charge of the Council on Foreign Relations. And they are told then how they can do their campaigning, and they are then told who is going to win the election. It doesn't matter anything else. The winner is going to be announced. 2016 was the first time that the American people had a say in who was going to be president in over a century. And this is the exact same thing that the NFL is doing. By the way, one of the young men, I did a video, several months ago, about a young man we called JMO, his Jameson Williams. And at the time, there was a lot of hoopla over some of the things that he had done. And they were saying all kinds of awful things about him. Well, congratulations to JMO. He has gotten himself a new contract, $83 million for 3 years. That's a very good contract for that young man. And it shows that things are looking up in that young man's life. Well, about probably 3 decades, maybe a little more ago, they decided that the Cleveland Browns were coming too close to being able to win a championship. And so what happens? Well, they were sent to Baltimore. And as the Baltimore Ravens, they were allowed to win, but not as the Cleveland Browns, because the people that run the NFL know that if Cleveland and Detroit get too close to a championship, that's going to be bad. This year, for example, Detroit has probably the best team that they've ever had. And you heard what the pundits had to say. The pundits all said that this team was going to lose, their window to the Super Bowl is over, and all this kind of stuff. Why are they saying those things? Because the NFL is not going to allow the Detroit Lions to win. Before the game, the Lions were told just exactly what they could do and what they couldn't do. And what happens? They come away with a huge loss. This is how it works for teams like the Detroit Lions, the Cleveland Browns, who are also back in the NFL. The first Browns being the Baltimore Ravens now. Now they've got another team, and that team is going to be no closer to winning a championship than the Detroit Lions will be, or the Atlanta Falcons will be, or a lot of those other teams that just are not going to make it. Now, one of them might someday actually make it to a Super Bowl, but they will not be allowed to win. And that's the unfortunate thing about the NFL. They have a deep state within it, an organization that has decided who's going to win, who's going to lose, what's going to happen, and the NFL will never, ever allow certain teams to win, because it is just simply bad karma, if you will, for those teams to win. So that is where we're at. Now, I could go on and on about this and ask you, why is it that games tend to glitch? Not only on TV, but sometimes when you're actually at the stadium, you see a glitch. What is going on? Are those people who are playing the game actually people? Are they CGI, holograms? What are they really? And I think it's a very good question to ask. And I think that people really would kind of like to know exactly what is going on. Why is it that the NFL so desperately needs to control everything at the top? Well, it's going to be a good question to be answered. As this season rolls on, you will see Cleveland will continue to be down. You will see that the Lions will continue to be down. Atlanta Falcons will continue to be down, and so on and so forth. And you won't see these teams in any Super Bowls anytime soon. You're going to see the teams that they allow to win, like the Green Bay Packers or the Minnesota Vikings. Because when those teams win, things are good in the NFL. Things are successful in the NFL. If Detroit were to win, even though people call them the NFL darlings, something would go wrong. The deep state knows it, so they're not ever going to allow the Detroit Lions to get to a Super Bowl. You can see that in Cleveland, you can see it in Atlanta, and you can see it in 2 or 3 other cities around the country. God bless those of you who are fans of those various teams, and hopefully someday you will get an opportunity to see a victory, but I doubt it. This is Kevin from Good Day, Good Prayers, reporting today on DSR Chats, and I hope you have a good day. A good day always starts with good prayers, and if those good prayers reach the throne of God, you're going to have a good day. That's your key. So with that said, have a good day.